Hey everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the lore discussion series, where me and my loving fiance Victor decide to read some of the stories that are coming out, like the Psychic Awakening books, which I have sitting right over here, which is the one we still need to finish, which is Ritual of the Damned. But in the meantime, we have Psychic Awakening Retaliation, which is the continuing story from when the Primaris Marines were killed. One company of them were killed by the Custodians. So joining me, as always, is Viggy, the GM.
Hello.
So, Victor, before we go into this, you read the other stories leading up to this, right? Like the Brazen Drakes actually committing full-blown heresy and everything?
Wait, which one was that?
The story prior to the last one.
No.
Okay, well, to sum it up, they got a ton of new psychers and everything, and at first they were complying with, the holding the psychers and everything, but the war began to get too much for them to handle, so they decided to just say the hell with it and keep going, and this led to them being tainted by the dark gods.
Alrighty.
Also, there is a chance that they have traitor gene seed in them due to the wording choices that they made. I do want to check the last one and contact the author to see what they really wanted out of that, to see if they just simply miswrote or that was intentional. More than likely, they'll probably just say it was intentional. All right. So,
does this say who wrote this? I can't see.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, no, I don't see an author's name.
No, I can ask. That's the best I can do.
All right. So, retaliation. It was such a simple word, yet Fiora's Loth knew. It struck fear into the hearts of the enemies of the Imperium, just as he himself did. The monster, the silencer, the lurking danger in the darkness, the blank. Fioros opened his eyes. They were grey, but not like a stormy sea or furious thunderheads. They were grey like nothing, for nothing was what lay behind him. Well, lay behind them. He looked around at his surroundings. His chamber, they called it. His prison, he knew. It was a spherical room, made from brass and adamantium. Every inch of the walls was covered in purity seals to ward off his influence, to keep Fioros isolated until they needed him. The room itself hovered between massive magnetized repulsor plates, the anti-gravitational field keeping him suspended. There was no way to leave until they came for him.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Hmm?
This is literally the Hulk cage from the Avengers movie.
Except this guy isn't the Hulk.
I don't know. Let's continue.
Inside this cell, aboard the sleek, nameless ship, Fiora stared at the mask that lay on the gridded metal floor in front of him. It stared back, as empty as himself. The smooth silver surface formed a stylized skull, representing the gift of the bearer. All sorts of arcane machinery protruded from the back of it, forming the terrifying device of the Animus Speculum. A spherical appliance of studded brazen metal sat on the left side of the skull mask. It was the only weapon Fioros needed, a way to unleash the pure darkness of his mind upon his enemies.
Ooh.
He did not What?
No, that is good.
Yeah, that's the skull helm that the Alexis has.
Yeah. Well, it would be cool to see these made more and maybe, give them to a Sister of Silence squad. Just saying.
I mean, yeah. Funnily enough, you can actually... the rules for this are in Dark Heresy, and the Animus Speculum is the thing that lets them see warp phenomena, because they can't normally see it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, because they're blanks. They can't perceive it.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about that for a second. The Imperium has machines that sole purpose is to see warp phenomena.
Yes.
That's horrifying.
In fact, if you have watched Queen's Court, you know that the etheroscope is something that Tarbok used to have, and Lynn currently possesses.
Mm-hmm.
Which lets them roll senescience instead. Roll senescience against their tech use. So yeah, the Imperium has psi detecting technology.
That's actually really cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
He did not find joy in what he did, because he did not truly understand joy. All he understood was his function in the galaxy. Find the target, execute retaliation. Find the target, execute retaliation. Again and again. A purpose. That was what they had given him after all those years spent as the outcast and the monster, viewed as heresy made manifest. Retaliation was his purpose. A red lumen in the corner of his chamber lit up, signaling that the time had come once again. Theoros put his hands on both sides of the heavy mask, lifting it as he rose and slowly placing it over his head. As the seals of the massive device locked around his neck, he sighed. The inside of this mask was the only home he had ever truly known. With proficient moves, he tightened the belt that held his psych-out grenades in place and made for the door of his chamber, thumbing the activation rune to signal that he was ready. The door slid open.
I love the fact that they brought up activation runes, because that is not stated enough.
Yeah, well, I will also always be slightly nettled by the way you pronounce rune.
What, ruin?
Yeah, it sounds like ruin.
Yeah, I know. That's my accent, babe.
I know, but it never
should
ceases
hear the way I
to
say daughter.
Yeah, but it never ceases to nettle
Or
me.
sauce.
Sauce.
Coffee.
What about some hot chocolate?
Hot chocolate? Love hot chocolate.
Ugh.
How many you
Actually, yeah, I know. Actually, I don't mind the way you say hot chocolate. All right, let's keep going. The door slid open with a hot, soft hiss, revealing a 15-foot gap. Wouldn't it be a 15-foot gap?
Yeah, it would be a 15-foot gap. Weird.
Because actually, I'm tripping up on feet. Between his suspended chamber and the next door, in the corners, 2 Stormbolter center gun arrays immediately swiveled in his direction. Only then, with the noise of ancient and revered technology, did a series of repulsor plates detach themselves from the walls, hover closer, and begin to form a bridge. As soon as the first one was in place, Fioros began to walk with measured steps across the distance of the bridge, while it was still taking shape. Okay, that's just a cool mental image.
So, you know, that scene of Magneto when he walks across his suspended cage and everything comes to place. Like, there's so many references here. I love it.
It's great. Fioros reached a hallway bathed in red light. Arcane Sispur auspexes chimed softly, confirming that the target was on the planet's surface beneath a black warship. 2 lumbering servitors, their heads wrapped in black cowls, were waiting for Fioros. Their arms ended in plasma guns and wicked claws. They were intended for him, he knew. An illusion of control, but his masters couldn't fool him. In fact, they only fooled themselves as they thought that this would stop him if he ever decided to turn against them. But why would he? The time had come. Find the target. Execute retaliation. This was his purpose, nothing else. The 2 servitors took their place on either side of the Alexis assassin, escorting him through the locked-down corridor and towards the ship's hangar, where his insertion shuttle waited. He knew that they had herded him like a beast, but he did not care. He only cared for one thing. His duty. And then we have a lovely picture.
I really hope that they had a bathroom in there for him, maybe a TV, some to watch, or exercise routines at least.
Yeah, well, you know.
So the first part of this is actually really cool.
It is a lonely existence. Yeah, I mean this whole thing was really, it gave really nice insight.
Yeah. Because we have a couple of the Vindicari books, which are really good.
There's a few short stories they have.
Excuse me, I am coughing up everything right now. I'm not actually sick, I swear. But it's really cool to actually see these guys portrayed as human, because there's a few Assassinorum books that are really good for this. One of them pits a Calexis assassin against a not a Vindicari, Calexis assassin against the other one, the sword one, and this one.
The sword one? You mean the Eversor?
Yeah, the Eversor. Against each other, and it's really, 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 really tense the entire time because they're both trying to execute one person, and they're trying to outwit each other on it. It's just a really good book.
And, of course, Nemesis is the assassin book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good book. I like it.
I actually own that book. Like, it's on my bookshelf.
Yeah. I got the audiobook. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Although I don't like how they have to portray the Eversor in that. It's slightly silly, but
Yeah.
All right, next one.
That he talks like normal and then goes crazy?
No, I mean he growls like this. It's the audiobook gives him slightly more character.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right. Retaliation. It was such a simple word, yet it had so many facets. Not unlike Sarah Knox herself. No familial relation with Umbernox. Things were never simple with Retaliation. It came in myriad of shapes, as countless of those receiving it through Sarah's hands. Only fitting, then, that she, too, came in one of innumerable guises to deliver this gift. Yet there was also pain. In a chamber as featureless as herself, Zara underwent the agonizing changes of her profession once more. She endured the process in stoic silence. This, too, was a gift to her, for it was her weapon.
The polymorphine.
As the polymorphine did its work, her lithe and sinuous body shifted and became bulky. Zara's musculature became ever more defined. Her jawline became broader, and her bones cracked and rubbed against each other as they took new form. She contorted as her vertebrae aligned themselves newly, making her larger and changing her whole silhouette. A red lumen in the corner of Sarah's chamber lit up and signaled that the time had come. With fingers that weren't hers anymore, she felt her new face. Zara nodded before she left the small room. This was a face that looked nothing like the woman it now belonged to, and yet it was hers. This was not the face of Calidus assassin Zara Knox, and yet it was her true face. It was the face of one thing only, the face of her duty. And then we have another lovely piece of art.
This is one of my favorite assassins because the new animated series that they have this one, and it's in the same art style as the old Spawn animation, which is really good. I love this assassin. This assassin is so freaking powerful. Like, the ability to change up your entire body. Like, one of these can turn into a war boss.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. And one of my favorite things is what's the audiobook where Greyfax has to go and retrieve, I think it's the Hand of Darkness? Or is that the Eye of Night? The one
I can never remember which is which.
Yeah.
One of those two.
She takes her pals, the Grey Knights, and dives into the warp. But in the beginning of it, she goes up to the palace, at the Imperial Palace, like the actual Imperial Palace, and before entering, she's grilled by the custodians, and they're like, you need to confirm that you're actually Greyfax. And she's like, I am Greyfax, open up this door. I am an Inquisitor, blah, 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 blah. And the one guy just goes, we know that polymorphine is a thing. We're not idiots.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that gets brought up, because these assassins could actually take on a custodian.
One-on-one, yes.
Actually, on tabletop, I think one-on-one, they can take out a custodian pretty easily.
Doesn't the Calidus, do auto wounds on a 2+?
Yeah, plus all the stratagems and everything versus a single custodian. Yeah, the Calidus wins every time.
Yeah. I mean, I think every assassin can win every time.
Yeah. Although they can't really survive if the custodian attacks first.
Well, they have their invulnerable saves.
Yeah, but they're D3 damage weapons with 3 attacks.
How many wounds on an assassin? Only 2?
4.
4. Yeah, they could survive that.
It's risky, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, next one. Retaliation. It was such a simple word, determined, single-minded, with a clear purpose, like a bullet hitting home. There was no room for interpretations, for shades or nuances. Retaliation was pure and simple, straightforward and distinct in its relevance. In this, it was not unlike Moritan Callan, for he himself was retaliation made manifest. Moritan sat cross-legged in his bare chamber, his Exitus rifle balanced on his thighs. One of his black-gloved hands rested on the weapon's shaft, while the other was placed firmly on the gun's silencer. Moritan knew that others found this part of war disquieting, the weight. Sometimes it even got on the nerves of the members of the other temples of the Officio Assassinorum. They would never admit to that, of course, but he knew. He could see it, sense it in their presence. They did not understand the meaning of true patience, true endurance. It took someone of his mindset to fully grasp these concepts. It was only true way to execute retaliation in its full and glorious form, to lie in wait like a spider for days, weeks, even months, until the perfect, unadulterated moment came. With this thought, Moritan suddenly sprung into motion. With skillful movements, he went through a series of maintenance rituals, feeling every delicate part of the rifle beneath his fingers. It took mere moments for him to put the weapon back together, as he had done so many times before in his life. Then he opened his eyes. The Exitus rifle was lying neatly on his legs, in the exact same position as before. It almost seemed as if he had never lifted it at all, let alone dismantled it. Precision. Impeccable precision in everything that he did was the true definition of Moritan's self. It was this straightforward precision that had shaped him into the weapon of the Emperor of Mankind. Ultimately, retaliation and precision were the same to Moritan. A red lumen in the corner of his chamber lit up. With quick movements, the Vindicari assassin got to his feet and activated the door rune. The black door opened, and Moritan stepped into the hallway. The wait was over. The time to deliver the Emperor's justice had come. The target would not know it yet, but its death was already decided. Moritan shouldered his Exitus rifle and made for the hangar. His mind was set on one thing only.
Also, I do have to point this out about all of the assassins. They got hips for days. Just saying.
They do, although I will note, this Vindicari is missing his Exitus pistol.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yep, he is definitely missing it.
Yeah, I cannot see it, because it is big enough that he could not hide that thing behind his thigh.
Mm-hmm. Also, he's got one hell of a package, just saying.
Hey-o. And you're not talking about the Exitus ammo.
No, but it's really cool that we get this insight, this meditation prior to the mission itself. This is why I actually really like the assassins so much. If you read Nemesis, if you read some of the assassin stuff, you know that an assassin takes 12 years to train, and they're phenomenal warriors capable of killing Primarchs.
Yeah, and it has been argued, in universe, mind you, that the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum might be the most powerful man in the galaxy.
Yep. But the one weakness of assassins is they're not immune to corruption. In fact, there is a short story, I cannot remember the name of it, where the Venom Temple goes after a Vindicari because the Vindicari's master was actually killed and replaced with a demon.
Another short story has a Vindicari fall to chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say which because it's actually a spoiler who it is.
I think we still need to cite the source, though. So unfortunately, we do need to spoil that.
Hold on. For that, I need to do a quick Google search because let me see.
I cannot remember the name of the short story.
I can tell the name of the story, but I need to do some quick searches because I need the name of an assassin. No, why does this not show?
That's okay. Just give the name of the story and it should be fine.
And that's the thing. I need the name. Oh, here we go. I think I got it. Short stories. Wow, there is a lot of the...
Okay.
Gun Sight is the story.
Ah, gotcha. That's a good one.
It is a good one. It's a nice little short story.
Yeah. All right, let's get right back to this.
Retaliation. It was such a simple word, yet it meant nothing to him. As Artyom Vendil was awakened, his instant response was a wordless scream of anger and rage. He did not need to grasp the concept behind retaliation, for he was retaliation's given form. Immediately, Artyom pushed hard against the restraint that bound him in his small chamber. His metabolism had sped into overdrive as soon as he had been awakened from his cryogenic sleep, and a shockwave of violence was sweeping through his mind. Behind his crimson skull mask, Artyom's teeth were bared and froth was bubbling from his lips. This was his eternal resting state. He was conditioned to be hateful, the wrath of the Emperor himself in human form, and yet his anger was nothing compared to the pure madness that would unfold once the Friendzone was unleashed into his metabolism. Not yet, though. They needed his attention for a few more moments. While Artyom struggled in his restraints, several small servo cranes descended from the ceiling like skeletal fingers closing in on his head. A needle sat on the end of each of the devices, and they plugged into small jacks in Artyom's skull mask. They penetrated the skin and the cranium beneath it to bore right into his brain, injecting sounds, images, smells, and other impressions. Artyom was like a bestial hound, and now he had a scent to follow. He gritted his teeth and growled before rattling at his restraints once more. With a soft and wet noise, the needles withdrew from his head and disappeared into the shadows above. Red warning lumens lit up the small chamber where the Eversor assassin was held in place, and a piercing alarm sounded. With a sudden lurch, the drop pod was released, descending to the planet beneath it like a comet of doom.
Again, another human in a drop pod. It's almost like drop pods can be used for humans because they have a drive field inside them.
I would argue that assassins are a bit more augmented than regular humans.
Still, we have seen drop pods used on humans before.
Yeah, though I have a feeling it has more to do with the nature of the passengers rather than the...
Well, we've seen Inquisitors in no power armor go down in them.
I've only ever seen one Inquisitor drop in power armor. I believe it was...
Inquisitor Sabathiel did as well.
Wasn't she in Terminator?
She was in Terminator armor.
Yeah. Alright,
the last bit. Aegis Terminator armor.
Which is even better. Was she a Psyker?
She was not a Psyker as far as I could tell.
Maybe she was lacking some features then.
Well, I mean, the Aegis armor does ward off psychic powers, so...
It does that too, but I thought it acted as their psi-focused too.
Maybe she just got it because it's cool.
Probably.
Yeah.
Alright, the final bit. Execution Force Retaliation is successfully deployed, the Officio Assassinorum Adept on the bridge of the small, nameless craft said. Target located in War Zone C-44. Hostile threat level extremis. Affirmative. A distorted voice from the Vox Halo replied. Hold position until the kill is confirmed. Holding position in orbit over Dessa, the Adept acknowledged and went through the mission parameters once more. Execution Force Retaliation is en route. Target is of Adeptus Astartes origin. Excommunicate Traitoris. Brazen Drake, Chapter Master Argento Corian. May the Emperor's retribution strike swiftly and irrevocably.
And then we get him. And again, look at his hips. He's got hips for days.
Yep.
These assassins. I guess hips you have to have a booty to be an assassin.
Pretty much. Although, is it just me or is his combi needler a bit much?
I like it.
I mean, it looks just slightly bigger than the model in that sense.
A little bit. Although what's weird is he actually looks proportionate. That's odd for 40k artwork. He actually looks proportionately human.
He doesn't even look that strong.
No, but then again, he's not overly strong. He doesn't have the... Well, we know what the Vendikari assassin does when he's waiting alone.
I mean, that's different, but yeah, like the Eversor, this one at least, like I get it that he is like there's not a ounce of wasted material on him, but he does not look ripped.
No, he definitely doesn't. That I can agree with.
Yeah.
So, the Brazen Drakes are getting assassinated, and they sent in 4 assassins to deal with him. That's
four assassins for a single chapter master. That's a bit much.
Considering that when they went after, when somebody went after the chapter master of, oh my god, what is his name? The crazy blood angel.
You mean Gabriel?
Yeah, Gabriel Seth had
of the Flesh Terrors.
Yeah, he had an Exodus, not an Exodus.
Single Eversor.
Yeah, Single Eversor to go after and exterminate him.
Yeah,
and he won against it.
Oh yeah, he did. He wrecked that thing. Also, like for reference, they sent 6 after Horus. They didn't succeed, but Chapter Master is not a Primarch.
No, well, they sent 1 against a Primarch and got him.
That was kind of because Curse was waiting for it and kind of let it happen.
Still attacked.
Yeah, I get that, but
just saying, she killed a Primarch.
Look, I know what Mshen did, but the point is, I like even on tabletop, you really would not need 4 assassins.
No, you would just need him to go after him.
Yeah,
or a Vindicari would just pop. Actually, no, a Vindicari would roll a 1, re-roll it into a 1, because that's what mine does all the freaking time, and I hate her.
I mean, she gets a free reroll, right?
No, you still have to pay for the reroll. But if they hit again, which is good. They get to hit again.
And then every time they hit, was it hit or wound, they get to roll again.
Well, every time they touch, they get that feeling.
And every time you
anyway, now when they do hit, they get to shoot again.
Okay.
So yeah, any one of these guys could take out a chapter master.
Here comes the part that excites me, because like I get it, this is all good stuff for like fluff. However, I am strangely surprised that the assassins are getting the Psychic Awakening book and the Inquisition, because all they had so far were white dwarfs.
Yeah. No, it is cool that they are being mentioned. They might be like how the Guard are mentioned in all of the books. Not actually get rules, but they're there.
I think it's been confirmed that Inquisition and Assassins are getting rules.
I think what they're doing is they're just copying the rules from the White Dwarf and just putting them in this book.
I mean, I would not be surprised if they added some more.
It might also include the FAQs, so they change up the language and everything, which would be really
that
good.
too. Which makes it really funny that that now we technically have Assassin and Inquisition codices, except their Psychic Awakening books.
Yeah, which is Codex 2.0s for all of the books, because it's the update to all the codexes.
Except this would be Psychic Awakening 1.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is the Codex 2.0.
Fair.
Except for the Codex that has a 2.0, it's Codex 3.0 for like the Space Marines. I really am digging this artwork. This artwork is amazing.
This looks all of this looks new. I say that only because there's a detail missing on the Vindicari. Grr.
All I'm saying is they have hipster days.
Yeah, they do. Is it strange that the... Excuse me. I'm dying over here.
Look, see, that's where the Venom Temple went. It went to take out Victor.
Oh no! Quick, send the Vanus Temple after Alexis.
Yeah, right. No, but I am really liking what they're doing with these short stories. They're building up to this epic story that we're going to see about the Brazen Drakes. And I want to see them fall. I want to see them die. But I also want to see what has happened to them. Because they're kind of like the soul drinkers right now, where they might have turned to chaos as a last resort.
Yeah, because the soul drinkers were just renegade. They actually had a really nice arc of going loyalist, renegade, fallen.
Until their chapter master became a spider.
Yeah, well, let's not dwell on that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that happens to these guys. Like, that is awesome. Not the assassins, the brazen drakes. Like.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about what's coming out next. Everybody who is watching this, I want to know your comments in the comment section down below. I want to know what you guys think. Tell me what you think, what you predict is going to happen for this story. I want to read through all of them. I want to like all of them, and I'm going to comment on a good chunk of them. I think Victor is going to do the same, aren't you?
I mean, yeah.
See how excited that Icelandic bread is?
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't noticed, this is me elated.
And soon he'll be immolated.
No.
Burn, witch. Actually, wait, I'm the witch.
Get no you'd.
Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching. I'm going to stop looking at this guy's crotch now.
Will you please stop looking at it?
I want to thank you guys for watching, for liking this video. If you want to see more, check out all the links in the description down below. There you can follow me on all sorts of social media. I post really funny things on Twitter. I post questions usually on Facebook. If you want to support the channel, especially now that I'm out of work, you could check out my Patreon. It goes a long way to help supporting the channel. It's literally my only income because I can't collect unemployment. Yay! Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. As always, NornQueenAlexis. I love you guys. Bye.